It's called Sharp Park Golf Course. And that's an
Sharp Park.
Alister, yeah, and that's an Alister MacKenzie designed architect. Coast Road 70. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah. So I don't know how
Right
close that is
there.
to, yeah, I don't know how close that is, but they called it
Um,
like the poor man's pebble, which like there's 1,000 poor man's pebbles right now, right? Isn't there?
totally.
Like, um,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's right there.
yeah.
Here's the
So
missile
apparently,
site.
yeah. So Alister MacKenzie just goes off and builds a golf course in Pacifica. Also builds one in Santa Cruz around the same time. Also builds one on the for Bohemian Grove. Also builds one called Spyglass. Builds one Augustus, the Masters.
So that's the same
These things,
guy built
all the
all
same
these.
guy. And then all over Ireland, all over the world, all over Australia, and he's doing all this stuff like right around the same time. And
What what's his name again?
Alister MacKenzie,
Alister.
yeah, Lester,
I don't know. Maybe it'll come up somehow.
yeah, there he is. And so he was building this stuff, also designing camouflage for the military.
So he's building golf courses and designing camouflage.
Yeah, for the
So,
military.
and we've been saying basically that golf courses are camouflage
Yes.
of the
There's
old
there
world.
it is. Sharp Park right there. His one's in Spyglass. He was definitely, the names kind of give it away a little bit, um, that he's built in this area.
So
Past
from
Tiempo. Past
1905
Tiempo.
till
So Past Tiempo.
1934, he did all
Yeah,
these.
yeah. So Past Tiempo is kind of like a weird name, right? Because you obviously, if you were just using English as Past Tiempo, you'd hear it and you'd be like pastime, hobby. That's what it translates to. It also translates, like there's like three different translations. So it also translates into kill time. Like, right? So Past Tiempo, and that happened to be his favorite golf course was Past Tiempo, kill time, right? It's really, really interesting
Mhm.
how the names have like not only double entendre but quadruple entendre. Is that a word?
Probably, but yeah, multiple
Yeah.
meanings.
Yeah. So there you go.
Um,
Past Tiempo is pastime, real easy.
yeah, and I mean, so like, it's not hard to think that one dude covered up built all these golf courses and possibly covered up a bunch of old world sites.
Oh yeah,
Look at
all over
all this
Scotland.
shit. So it's not
Yeah.
hard. One guy did all these. I'm
Yeah.
sure if we went into, we could. It's going to be the same if we look up some other course
Well,
builders.
yeah. Yeah.
So it may,
The
it's not hard. It's not out of the fucking question to think that they were covering shit up because it's just one guy who's responsible for
right.
for all these golf courses
With
and
military
all over
connections.
the world. Yeah, and he
With
was
military
doing
connections.
camouflage. Yeah, making camouflage for the military. It's right there.
Right. So obviously he's designing like all this stuff that will trick your eye, and that's kind of like his he's doing that with landscape at a humongous level, probably
Totally.
making and just talking to other finders or something like that. Something about that. Oh, there's
This
that.
is a
What's that? Is that
it's just a weird thing I found right by the on the other side of the golf course from
right?
the Ritz, or this, like, whatever this is, one of the holes.
It's called the Ocean Course. Pretty interesting. Very
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah,
I don't think there's any views of it if I remember.
but it's all gridded out there though. It's all you know. It's probably tunnels. Look at the tunnels right there. I mean, if you just had like you could just bore right through that, right? He had the right tools.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much why they
Yeah.
destroyed or, removed the pillars from the Ritz because, like, they knew
Yeah.
it was just going to keep eroding
I mean,
away and
some
exposing.
people claim that it was an old wharf. I know that they like go, "Oh, you guys are just being tricked. It was an old wharf," and I'm like, "Well, that was like just the first story, wasn't it, bud?" You
Right. And
know?
they say it was part of like a grand expansion that they,
Yeah.
ended up fucking canceling.
Yeah. That was just the first story, bud. Like then, like if you bought the first story, what was the story before it was that story? You know? I mean, you got to just keep on questioning it. You can't really expect like a Ritz Carlson to like, sit there and tell you what's up.
Totally. They're obviously going to have a story for it.
Right. I mean, just go down to Carmel Beach and just look over at Pebble Beach and tell me that wasn't just the greatest like cover up of everything ever. I mean, that's probably where they figured it out. They probably
Right.
figured it out like on one of those old courses over in England, and then they're like, oh well, where else can we do
Yeah.
this? And it's just like Pebble Beach, like the view from Carmel Beach to Pebble Beach is like amazing. You just sit there and you just go, damn, dude, this is like the most beautiful, like that little Carmel Heights right there, Carmel by the
Hmm.
sea. It's fantastic. It's laid
Right.
out just fantastic.
And they play the game over these lands and,
Right.
harvesting energy and like what are they really doing by hitting the balls in the hole? Is it all
Oh
part
yeah.
of
I
the
mean,
whole,
there's a I mean, the actual game of golf is kind of, and this is where, okay, so this is where it gets kind of like interesting for me. Because do you know who Michael Murphy is?
um I mean, I'm thinking of like five people named
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Michael.
Well,
Was he an
Michael
80s singer? I'm just
no, no,
kidding.
no.
I'm
Michael
just kidding.
Michael Murphy is one of like his family owned property from Salinas all the way through those back countries, all the way to Echelon. Echelon's that institute down in Big Sur.
Uh-huh. Yep.
So like it was all ranches, and that's how they made their like I think their bones in California was from ranching. But they sent him to Stanford, and then he graduated, and then uh, decided with other people to create Echelon. And if you look into Echelon, it's pretty interesting. But it's all psychiatrists. It's all like, let's see how we can manipulate our minds and stuff like that. Well, he wrote a book called Golf in the Kingdom, about how esoteric golf is, and
Hmm.
like it was taught by like golf was taught by mystics, like this guy Seamus McIrons or something, or Iron Seamus Irons or something. It's a really cool book, and they talk about like true gravity and the mind being able to create through a ball and a club and all this really esoteric stuff. So they went on this, like he golfed with him. He was like super impressed with him, and then you know um, he golfs, and then the guy just ends up going the mystic guy irons Shivis or something. Shivis Irons goes missing. No one knows where he is. He's never been able to find him again. But he's had all these old books of the old world and just gone. And then after that is like when he decided to like after his golf trip and his time with Shivas is like when he decided to open Echelon with the rest of the people that want to freaking do it down there. And one of the things that he like talks about is that he talks about like this concept like blowback, where all these ideas are like really good ideas and should be like explored, but there's going to be a blowback where a whole bunch of people kind of come in and try to understand them and teach the lessons of like someone like a mystic like Shivas Irons. And it's like the exact same, it's like the exact same problem through trying to explain the teachings of a mystic. These other people that call themselves like authorities on the subject are just going to fuck up people's minds even more, which is pretty intuitive, right? Because that's exactly
Right.
what happened.
Totally.
That's exactly what happened. That's why you have cults and all this crazy stuff. So it all I mean, it was pretty intuitive for him to come with that and also be part of like Stanford as a psychologist, and then also create like the Echelon Institute, and everything that comes out of there is pretty much blowback now. It's like all being taught wrong.
Right. Interpreted into
Right.
in their own way or whatever.
Well, it's just like,
or to whatever
like
the way.
using magic, and then just, I mean, if you have a hose and you just leave a hose on, it's just going to spray water. It's not going to and you're going to waste a whole bunch of like energy, I guess. But like also like if you have like a sprinkler that monitors it and just kind of sprinkles it where you want it to go, and then your whole garden could be completely like watered perfectly with like maybe like 1/10 the amount of stuff. So I don't know how that would be like considered, but it's like he really explores the idea of blowback and like being like, no one's going to be able to get this. You have to experience it, right? And that's where we are right now, with like everyone trying to explain Tartaria, figure out Tartaria. There's going to be a bunch of like people going, oh, it's this, it's that, but also it just comes to be like one of these things where you start thinking about it and you go, oh, it's just repurposing the idea to the point where you just have to like at some point just go like, look, there was this old civilization that had tremendous technology, free energy, spirituality, money, togetherness. You're just gonna have to be like, that's what it was, right?
Right. I mean, fucking the best like conversations I've had with normies and like starting to kind of understand even like, or where I've been able to get people to understand is to experience it on their own, is look it up on their own and see for themselves. Because that's, I mean, I know there's millions of examples, it's easy. Mm-hmm. Like I stumble across things all the time. I'm not even, looking for something, for that. And when you just the pieces of the puzzle start fitting in, and it's almost like, those fucking artworks that are like all static, but then once you focus your eyes, you can see like art underneath it. Once you can do that, like you can't unsee it. Like you always see that. And it's kind of like this, like once you start, finding these nuggets, like once you see it, you can't unsee it. And I think, that's one of the best ways to describe it, is just to, think of some good examples and just send people down the rabbit hole, like I've had multiple friends come back to me and be like, oh dude, I went and looked that up. You were right. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm like, I wouldn't have told you. Like, I'm trying not to be fucking wrong here, buddy. Fucking, and like, yeah, dude, like, yeah, it, that's the best way of describing it, because even like right now, I'm having a hard time, like, just, it's like, where do you start? It's like, it's a journey that, I mean, I know it's both of us. It's been a culmination of our full lives of looking into everything. I've gone down so many conspiracy rabbit holes, and when it come to this, it's like a culmination of all of it. Like everything I've ever like looked into, research on my own, is now like all of it is becoming handy in this, new fucking research. And that's I words can't describe that as well as like the magic of it actually happening, and so
you can't just be like, oh, you can't go by City Hall in San Francisco and be like, oh yeah, that's existed for probably thousands of years and it was buried under mud and they decided to dig it out one day, and that's why that happens to be bigger than the capital of the United States. And they go, oh, this is bigger than the capital of the United States. You're like, oh, yeah, pretty weird, huh? It's the biggest. Yep. And they go, oh, well, you can't start them there.
Right. I mean,
that'll just start them back, you know.
Totally.
That'll be like too much of an overload. But
yeah,
you can't be like, oh, you know, the constellation Orion is, and they map it out with like pyramids in Egypt, which, like, once again, it's like, you know, that's, for some people they go, oh, that's cool because it's like on the verge of mainstream, right?
totally,
At this point
totally. And
with
the recent Hancock Netflix thing has,
yeah.
I've had a bunch of people like hit me up. Hey, have you heard of this guy and this new thing? I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
I
like his
sure
books are
have.
like
I
weighing
sure
down my
have.
bookcase right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I'm like,
yeah,
those dusty old things were like some of the
yeah,
first things that, you know, got me into this. Really, it
yeah,
opened my eyes to the alternative history. But yeah, no, it's just it is starting to get bigger, and people are questioning, you know,
right.
from all areas.
Oh, it's really closely to the point where it's going to be co-opted. Like
Oh, for
it's right
sure.
there.
And
You know what I
there,
mean?
I'm sure there is you know, there's fucking
It's
people
common.
doing that right now, you know. And
Yeah.
like I said, just, I mean, don't take anyone's word for shit.
Right.
Just look it up yourself. Like, I think that's the moral of all this story, you know.
Right.
Autodidactic has like the coolest name of any channel, because like that's like it, you know. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, teaching yourself, you know, like,
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
like, but
that's
you get like, but you can
huge.
almost feel it, right? And that's what I'm saying. You can almost feel
Oh
like the
yeah,
co-op coming. Like it's so
totally.
close, and it's like, and I think that's why, like, I have like this feeling of like needing to define it so finite now, right? To
Right.
someone before it gets, but it's
Yeah,
impossible.
before they get some, you know, before they get
Yeah,
the distorted version, you
right.
know, from fucking
Because
whatever
I
the
might, dude,
clowns.
I might have like a distorted version of it,
Sure.
and that, you know, so in that way, I go, well, no, just keep on remembering that, like, all the missions in California have been moved miles from their original spots. Just keep on, like, have my, like, you know, have that like inception of like that, you know, like that's your die. What, you know, if it, you know, you're in reality, bud. You know,
Right.
kind of like
Totally.
vibe. You know, I'm in reality. We're keep
Totally.
on
And
going.
you
Yeah.
know, I mean, there will be haters, and there
Oh,
already
yeah,
is, you know, and it's like,
yeah.
you know,
I mean,
they're
there's
gonna
been the rats that have jumped ship. There's been like, you know, like the
oh yeah.
reversal of like the whole thing. I mean, it's just like, I mean, even when you like talk to people about, the Laurel Canyon book about being co-opted by stuff, people just still cannot believe that Jim Morrison was a fucking made up character, dude. They just
Totally.
like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? They just go, they're like, what? No way. And you're like, yes, way. He was fucking made up, fucking just like Kanye West is now. Like, you know, the whole fucking thing. They're
Yeah,
just
characters.
distractions. Look how much society is falling apart, you know. We need to
Yeah.
direct you in this way. We need to direct you in that way, you
Yeah.
know.
Elon's the new like clown character, took over for Trump, who just, you know, triggers everyone into mass fucking hysteria every
Yeah.
time he does something or says something, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
all
Well, they,
distractions,
well, it's just
characters.
like it's just it's not reality. It's like how would you be able to like put like $1 billion into your life right now and have like a grasp on like the idea of having $1 billion in your life right now, dude? Oh, okay. Let alone $166 billion that like was apparently his net worth, right? You just there's just no conceptual way of doing it.
It's stupid money. It's funny money.
It's just there's no. I
There's no
mean,
point. There's no
and
point.
somehow he's like a regular guy that has more in common with me and you. No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he has nothing in common with us.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
doesn't have
maybe
anything in
like
common with me. Like, that's for damn sure.
who knows, man? All I know is like when I take off my shirt, I tan up real nice, dude. I don't tan up like some fucking saltine out there, dude. You know what I mean?